Hey there, YouTube. It's Kurt here, and it's been a little while, and I apologize for that, but I'm bringing you today this new FTK deck that I found. Now, I know FTKs are a little bit degenerate, but this one isn't that consistent, but it's really, really funny. In my opinion, I think it's really, really funny. So we're going to bring you the Morphing Jar Lunalight FTK here. All right, so the goal is to play it like you play kind of Orcus Lunalights, but instead, when you get to Curious, you want to make Azathoth and then get into Curious, and then Curious will send like a AD changer, and you want to do all of this without using your normal summon. And then your main goal is to get Morphing Jar from your Gallant Granite, the new card that searches any rock monster, and then normal set that, and then just, go with your plays from there. So yeah, you have Curious sending your AD changer there, and yeah, that pretty much gets your play going, and then you have a bunch of other cards that help you flip up and face down. Now you have to forgive me, I'm going to record the video separately here, but you have other cards like Castal, the Musketeer. Musketeer can flip a monster back face down. This is just complete level 4 spam. And rank 4 spam from the XC zone. And then we also have a Photon monster that can flip it back face up with enough XC spam. And again, this deck can just keep going and going with the number of level 4 summons that you have. Because you're playing 3 Mothman, 3 Choop, and you're playing 2 of each of the semi-limited dangers just because the free summons help you get into Curious and get into Azathoth. By the way, this deck does pretty much lose to impermanence, but it doesn't really lose to impermanence because you can still put a board on at the end of your plays. You can still end on Appaloosa and Abyss Dweller. Even if they draw into that impermanence, you can still, like, if you know they're playing impermanence, it's really funny because they basically have to have a $50 card to beat you. But yeah, you get into that impermanence, or you can prohibition the impermanence, and then you're good to go from there. So yeah, woo, get the flipping going. All right, so other things that are interesting, I decided to do one of, just 2 traps to finish off the milling. This deck mills your own cards a little bit, but if you keep adding more cards, you lose your consistency there. So I decided just to go with 2 traps to help finish out the milling, and 1 reincarnation, 1 present card, just because present card is less expensive, and I decided to make it more budget. So Appaloosa is honestly the price of the entire rest of the deck, which is kind of ridiculous to think about. But yeah, the deck without Appo is like $70, and the deck with Appo is like $140, which isn't too bad at all, in my opinion. All right, so without further ado, well, obviously, if you don't know what the Lunalight Orcus combo does, blah, blah, blah. Just skip ahead. I'll put the link to where you can skip ahead to where I do a replay. But obviously, there's a lot of different tangents that Lunalight can do, and this is probably the hardest deck that I've tried to learn in terms of combo, just because there's so many branches that you can do. You have a lot of options at your disposal. All right, so but often you'll want to get get the Crimson card. Yeah, you want to get your Pendulum card into your zone, and then potentially discard your Lunalight monster, and then summon Kaleido Chick, discard Kaleido Chick, then get it back on the field. That's most often the way you're going to get this going without your normal summon. By the way, Kaleido Chick plus your Pendulum card plus Mothman. That tends to be a pretty broken opening hand, because that normally means you can get to Azathoth and then make your combo from there. Now, the tricky part is that this is the main one I want to go over. So, obviously, you have different plays with Curious. If you open up with AD Changer and you get that into Grave, well, instead of searching AD Changer, then you might want to search your Blackwing. If you search your Blackwing, and then you just get more summons, and then you have more options at your disposal to try to FTK your opponent by milling them, because you just have so many more summons, and that's one of the complex parts. But probably the most complex part that's initially hard to understand is getting Azathoth into Curious. All right, so you want to be careful. You don't want to have Chupacabra, because Curious requires 3 different types. But they all basically have to be dark in this deck. They all have to be dark. All right, so you don't want to XC summon with like Chupacabra if you have the. You do want to XC with Chupacabra, but you don't want to XC summon with what's the other one? Mothman. You don't, because that's a different type. That's an insect. All right, so you'll basically end with a fiend, an insect, or one of your other dangers, one of the 3 semi-limited dangers, and then hopefully you'll get like. Yeah, hopefully you'll get your yellow marten on the field with that. That way they're all different types. And then you go into Curious, and then you can do all your rank 4 shenanigans from there. And again, if all this fails, you could still end on a ridiculously good board because you still have Tornado Dragon as an option, and you still have Abyss Dweller. And those are 2 really good cards in their own right. And there's are honestly a lot of different really, really good rank 4s out there. So I just wanted to get that straight away. And again, it's hard to get replays here because the dangers don't really work with the replays in this engine. But I got 1 replay here, and then I'll go ahead and try to do it against the dueling robot to show you guys what's going on. So again, I hope you guys like this video. If you like it, subscribe, all that stuff, and peace.